So now we are going to start with Unit 5 of our subject, Business Intelligence. The unit is about the spectrum of business intelligence. So let us begin. In this, the very first thing that we are going to discuss is enterprise and departmental business intelligence. An enterprise business intelligence solution, it consolidates the multi-formatted data across the company's department, various divisions, various subsidiaries, etc. into a secure, centralized data storage, and it enables the data analysis and the role-based access to the analytic result by business users of all the levels. What happens in enterprise business intelligence solution? Basically, when we install an enterprise business intelligence solution to our enterprise, what do we require? We require that the data, which is into multiple formats, it should be consolidated together. The data, it is into various formats because it is being used in different departments of the company. It is being used in different divisions, and they all format the data as per their requirement. So we need to gather all this data and store it into a secure centralized data storage so that analysis on this data can be done, so that we can properly convert this raw data into useful information so that it can be used by our company. And we need that this data that we have analyzed, it can be accessed on the basis of roles by different business users of all the levels. We want the data which is all together into a single storage. It should be analyzed in such a form so that every person of our company, according to his requirement, can access this data, can analyze this data, and should be able to use this data. So, enterprise business intelligence, it is a software designed for use in the large businesses. Basically, the goal of this enterprise business intelligence solution is to increase the productivity and the efficiency in the complex environment of an enterprise. We want that the various departments, they are taking the data, they are storing the data, and they are utilizing this data. So, it should be in such a form, they should take this data and produce productive results from this data. Should be able to use this data efficiently for making future plans for our enterprise. So, the most basic enterprise business intelligence definition is the deployment of business intelligence throughout a large corporation. Larger, more complex companies, they create more data, and so they require more extensive and sophisticated business intelligence platform. So, enterprise business intelligence, it helps the organization increase its productivity and the efficiency. If we are able to provide a proper business intelligence, enterprise business intelligence solution to a company, so it can be used by various departments of the organization to increase the productivity and efficiency of the company. Now, what are the challenges that this enterprise business intelligence solution face or address? See, the very first challenge that this enterprise business intelligence solution, when it is trying to be built, what is the first challenge that it faces? The first challenge is data of different types and structure across disparate systems with different data models. See, if you're talking about a large complex organization, so in that there are a number of departments, there are a number of users who are using the data, and whenever they gather some data, they store it into some format. So it is not always possible for all the people to store all the data into one assigned format. They all take the data and store it into different types and different structure. So the very first challenge for any enterprise business intelligence solution is to gather this different type of data and different type of structure so that it can be accumulated at one centralized data storage place from where the analysis of data can be done. So the very first challenge is that we have the data in the enterprises of different types and different structure. So that is the first challenge that this enterprise business intelligence solution, it has to face. Second challenge is a data quality issue stemming from poor data management practices and manual data processing. In the organization, there may be going on some manual data processing, or there may be some poor data management practices that might be getting followed. So, because of these things, data quality issue occur because every person is not IT enabled, he is not able to understand how to store the data in the databases in a proper format. Every person is not a technical person who is working in the organization. So because of this, there occur issue of poor management practices. There is a person, non-technical person, who is gathering the data and maybe using some manual data processing technique for storing the data, or maybe using some poor data management practices. So at that point of time, it will hamper the data quality, which this enterprise business solution has to work on. So the second challenge it faces is a data quality issue. Then third challenge would be data inconsistency. That means inconsistent definition across the department, spelling differences due to different location, etc. Means data inconsistency, that the data, it is same. Suppose we take a particular column of data in a table, it is same in two different tables, but the people might have stored it using different spelling. Someone might have used a shorter form of it for his own understanding. So because of this, what happens? Inconsistency between the data occur. The data which is being stored, it might not be consistent. So that is another challenge that this enterprise business intelligence solution, when we are building it, is being faced. Then, varying data analytics and reporting needs. The people who are working in the organization, they are working at different levels. So their reporting needs, they vary from one person to another. The executive, he wants some other kind of report. Suppose the executives or the high-end manager, high-level management, what do they want? They want the annual reports of the organization. There is a simple person who is managing all the databases. What kind of report will he need? He might be requiring a report of the data which is being allocated to the memory today itself. Every person in the organization has a different reporting need. So if we are trying to build this enterprise business intelligence solution, so we have to address the reporting need of every person at every level in the organization. So that is another challenge. Then, data aggregations is specificity for different countries and regions. We have to aggregate the data specific for different countries and different regions. If we are working on an MNC, so in an MNC, what do we require? We have different nations where we have our branches of the organization. So every country, it might have a specific requirement of that data. Or if we are talking about one country itself, there are different regions in which we are running our organization. So they may be requiring the data according to their specific issues. So that is the challenge that is required. Why is this a challenge? Because of different taxes and accounting rules. See, different country, they have different tax and accounting rules. So since we are talking about the data, if we are talking about the purchases of a single company, so that product, if it is issuing more tax in one country, in another country the tax level is less for that particular product. So those issues have to be handled using our enterprise business intelligence solution, because for the same product, at one place the price will be something, at another place where the tax is higher, the price will be something else. So for the same product, even there will be inconsistencies in the data. So that is another issue that has to be addressed while building this enterprise business intelligence solution. Then we have different levels of data maturity across the enterprise. At some point, there may be people who are just storing the raw data. Simple, they are taking the data and inputting into the computer memory. At some other level, there are people who are storing a different unified format of the data. So there may be different levels of data maturity across the enterprise. So these different levels, they have to be addressed. So these are few of the issues that our enterprise business intelligence solution face. So the first issue is data of different type and structure has to be handled. The second is data quality issues, they have to be handled. Then data inconsistency, it has to be handled. Then varying data analytics and reporting needs have to be handled. Then data aggregation specific for different country and different regions, it has to be addressed. Then the different levels of data maturity across the whole enterprise, it has to be handled. So these are few of the challenges which our enterprise business intelligence solution they address. Now, talking about the architecture of our enterprise business intelligence solution. So if we are trying to build a business intelligence solution for one enterprise, so there will be different layers which we have to build for creating this business intelligence solution. The different layers, it would be the bottom layer would be the data sources where all the data is being stored. Above that, we will have the data integration. At the data integration layer, what will happen? Data from different sources, it will be assessed and a unified view of the data would be created. Above that, we have data storage, where we are going to store this integrated data. Above that, the next layer will be data analytics, from where we are going to analyze the data using various tools. So that layer will be known as a data analytics layer. The next layer will be the reporting layer, where all the report will be formed. And the topmost layer will be the data presentation layer, which will be assigned to the users. So they can view the data in different form of presentation. So these are different layers of this enterprise business intelligence solution. Beginning from the bottom layer, which is the data source. So at the data source, we can have some internal sources. We also can have external sources. So we are talking about the sources of data from where we are accessing the data. For analysis of the data, first of all, we have to collect the data. So like we have discussed, when we are working on, suppose we are working on any e-commerce website, whenever we are clicking on some data, or even we are clicking on any particular product, or we are providing some kind of feedback related to that product, we are creating some kind of review. So what are these? These are all data which has to be collected by the enterprise, by the organization. So if we talk about the internal sources will be like CRM or ERP or the supply chain management. The first one, that is CRM. CRM means customer relationship model. That means we have to build the information about the various customer of the organization so that we can provide them with the correct requirement as per the customer. So that has to be built. Then we have the ERP. ERP is enterprise resource planning. Since company, it has various resources. So the proper resource planning has to be done. At what point of time, what resources should be utilized in an efficient form so that we can have more productivity for the company. So this is another project we can say from where we can access the data. Or we have the supply chain management. Supply chain management is what? From where we are understanding the whole supply of the various resources in the organization. What resources are required to be supplied at what point of time in the organization. So these are few of the internal resources. Talking about the external resources, we can have the social media. There can be data, lot of data on the social media related to our organization, related to the various products of the organization. From those external resources, the data can be accessed. They can serve as a source of the data. Or the market research database. We can have different databases from where the data can be accessed. So these all things, they will serve as the data sources for our company. Talking about now the next level above it. Once we have collected all the data from different areas related to our product, related to the organization. So the next level for us will be data integration. At data integration, we have to use the ETL services. That is extract, transform and load services, where we will be extracting the data that is provided to us in the data sources. We will be transforming the data as per our requirement, and we are going to load those databases in a proper data storage. So the first data integration task would be ETL services. Then we will have the data validation, where we have to validate that since we have number of sources, all the data which is being provided to us, it may not be valid. There may be some inconsistent data, there may be some null values, there may be some duplicate values. So we have to, while integrating this data, analyze about the validation of the data. So in this second layer, it will provide us with the data validation technique. Then we will have the master data management tool. We have here, when we are integrating the data, we have various data management tools. Using this data management tool, we can integrate our data. That means we can combine all the data which is provided to us from the data sources into a proper unified view so that it can be stored in a proper format. So now talking about the third layer, which is the data storage. Data, now we have integrated. We have combined our data in a unified format. Now we have to store this data properly. So the storage of data, it can be done on the data lake, it can be done on the operational data store, or it can be done on the different data marts in the data warehouses. So this data storage, it is very important because whatever data we have received, now we have to store this data so that it can be analyzed properly. So this storage of data in a proper format is again very important. So for that, storing that data, we can use operational data stores, we can use various data lakes, or we can use various data warehouses. So at that point of time, we have stored our data. Now, once the data is stored, the next step will be data analytics. Data analytics, it is, if we now say, it has become a different subject in itself. It has become a different field to be studied. Data analytics, because now the data that has been created, it has to be analyzed, that what all data we require. How can this data be viewed in such a format so that enterprise can fit from it? So for that purpose, we use various OLAP tools, like the online analytical tools that we discussed. We use various machine learning tools, and we use various data mining tools. Like if we talk about few of the examples of these kind of tools, we have the MicroStrategy, we have the SAS, we have SPSS. So there are different tools which are being built for the analysis of this data. Because now it is very important to analyze this data. So this is the fourth layer that we have in an enterprise business solution. At the next level, we have the reporting. Reporting, it will provide us with the self-service business intelligence tools and the data visualization tools. Now we have analyzed this data. Now it is very important to create proper reports of this data using various data visualization tools. Now the data, it is being analyzed. So we have to view the data into different format. We need to visualize this data into different types. Like we can analyze our data into of any particular region, that what is the sales of the organization at in this region. Region wise we can analyze the data, or we can analyze the data product wise, that what is the sale of this product in at this point of time. We can analyze the data as per different quarters of the year, or we can analyze the yearly data. So various kind of data visualization tools have to be published. At the end, we have the topmost layer, which is data presentation. Now at the data presentation layer, we have the reports, we have the dashboards, we have the scorecards, which are all being created in the layer below. So these reports, now business users who are in the organization at different levels, they can take this data, they can analyze these reports and make future strategies for the organization. So this is a whole architecture of an enterprise business intelligence solution. We have different levels where we have to use the data and analyze it into a proper format.